For the Macedonia Planning Commission public hearing for June 15th, 2026. Can we have a roll call?
Mr. Westbrook?
Here.
Mr. Willenhurst?
Here.
Ms. Meske? Here. Mr. Varhola?
Here.
Mr. Roberts is absent.
All right. So the first item in the public hearing is conditional use certificate approval to permit a training and business operations center in the B4 district for the location 316 East Highland Road. Would like to note that the applicant has requested that we continue the regular meeting agenda item to a meeting in the future. We'll have to bring that up and vote on that during the regular meeting. But I think we'll probably still conduct the public hearing here, but probably most likely do another one prior to the meeting that they do present, since it was advertised for tonight and everything. So with that, is there anyone here from the public that wishes to speak for or against this item? I don't know if I figured, but so with that, we'll move on to the second one, public hearing for the proposed conditional use certificate approval to allow outside storage of vehicles in a G1 district or GI district located at 460 East Highland Road. Is there anyone here to speak for or against this from the public?
I'm here for it.
Are you with
Interstate Towing.
Interstate Towing? Okay, so we'll have you come during the regular meeting just as to see if any public, unless you're speaking as the public.
Okay.
So, anyone else? No one here to speak to that. With that, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And since two applicants for that are here, we'll just roll right into the regular meeting. With that, I'd like to call to order the Macedonia Planning Committee meeting for June 15th. If we get a roll call for this.
Mr. Westbrook?
Here.
Mr. Willenhurst?
Here.
Ms. Meske? Here. Mr. Varhola?
Here.
Mr. Roberts is absent.
All right, so as I mentioned before, the first item is the proposed conditional use for the Training and Business Operations Center at 316 East Highland Road. As I mentioned before, the applicant has requested to continue this item to the next meeting to allow them to put some more information together based on some of the reviews and give them a little bit more time to work on that. I personally don't have a problem with that. If you guys have any issues with continuing this to a future meeting.
I don't, I guess just since the applicant's here, are we able to ask questions or at least ask them to provide some additional information?
The applicant's requested a continuance, so I think it's best to just accept the continuance. Maybe the applicant's agent who is here this evening can just provide some context of the timetable associated with the continuance, but the request has been made for a continuance, so I think that's ultimately, you can accept that and hear the case at a different time.
Okay.
Can I speak quickly?
Please, yeah, go ahead.
So my name's Art Schulteis. I'm here on behalf of 7-Eleven, the applicant. I did provide a supplemental narrative this morning in electronic form. I do have hard copies of that with me. That will give you some additional background information on where we're at. We are in the process of producing new site plans and updated drawings and have been in contact with them since beginning of last week. We have a rough time frame as of this morning. We should have the majority of those within 3 weeks. And one of them, the traffic report, for whatever reason, might be a little bit delayed and be 5 or 6 weeks. But we're in the process of compiling all of those documents. And in order to best facilitate the commission's decision, we would request a continuance pursuant to that information.
Okay.
And I'm happy to give you these, just background information too.
That's just the letter.
Yeah, if you need
Does
it.
anybody else, did you guys get the letter?
I don't think it's in.
It probably, I forwarded it to Susan.
Yeah.
I just forwarded it to you.
Yeah, I think I received it, the rest of the group did. Yeah, if you've got copies, just distribute to the members.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'll make a motion to continue, I guess, okay, so time frame. Susan, so the next meeting submissions is, I'm sure, coming up very quickly.
Mhm.
So most likely the August meeting, I think, is when it would probably be appropriate.
Well, I think you said July, didn't you?
July, but it would be close. We've been told 3 weeks as of today.
Okay.
So assuming they can,
Probably August then?
that would be the safer bet, I think.
Because, yeah, with your deadline, you typically for submissions would be.
Yep. I think it's the, what is it, 22nd maybe?
Yeah, it's-
And we certainly want you
Whatever I
guys,
quoted you, the deadline, I think I quoted you the deadline on the email maybe.
I think so.
If not, it was on the application.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I know it's on
can't think
there.
off the top of my head either, I'm sorry.
Okay, you want to say something?
Well, I was a question for the applicant. So is there any particular reason why the August meeting would be an issue for you?
No,
No?
not as of today.
Okay.
I guess certainly something could come up in the interim. I don't anticipate that based on what our discussions with our architect and engineer are.
Okay.
I don't anticipate that being a problem.
Okay. Well, with that, I'll make a motion to continue this item to the August meeting, to allow the applicant, time to make revisions and provide additional information. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
And I got a little ahead of myself and forgot to do the approval of the meeting the May 18th meeting minutes. So I'll take a step back and do that. Does anybody have any comments on the meeting minutes?
I do not.
You good? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes as submitted.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now I'll jump back to the regular agenda. All right, so item 2, proposed conditional use certificate for outside storage of vehicles, 460 East Highland Road. And I think that's you.
Sure.
Feel free to come on up and have a seat. You can come on right
Oh,
right here. We're a little less full. Could we get your name for the record?
John Go Jr.
All right. It's up to you if you want to try to to give any kind of overview beyond what stuff you provided, or we can jump into the staff comments.
We own and operate a large commercial towing company in the city of Macedonia. This would be in addition to our properties on Island Road. Our goal here is not to operate or own a junkyard or anything with dismantling. It's just to process vehicles, meaning impound vehicles from the local police departments or a breakdown or the case may be. I know the concern is the public eye from Highland Road. My goal is to keep a clean, professional, organized property at all times. And I think to progress the hindrance of the vision from the street, I want to enclose the property with fence screening.
All right, so that's the general. Ms. French, would you like to go over your thoughts?
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So I'll just say my report's dated June 5th, and in my report, I referenced that the property is zoned limited industrial, and we've been having some conversation about some map differences here, myself, the city engineer, and the building commissioner. And it looks like the property is indeed zoned general industrial, which would conditionally permit outdoor storage. I think we just want to confirm that. There's an ordinance referenced on a map from 2013. This could just be a sign of my age that I'm forgetful, because I was here in 2013, so it's possible I just forgot. But it looks like there was some action that was taken along Highland, the entire stretch, to change the zoning classifications of those properties to general industrial. So that said, to proceed forward on the, with the understanding that just need to get confirmation of that ordinance and that process that took place to rezone that. And then, provided that's all correct, 116904, which is the general industrial district, 116904 C, or I'm sorry, F permits outdoor storage, and it has setback requirements for outdoor storage, and those setback requirements are the subject of the conditional zoning certificate. So what it says is that essentially, and there's no residential land adjacent to this area, so the residential pieces of this I won't even read, but basically the front setback has to be a minimum of 100 feet for the storage. I don't know what that depth is. There's no site plan that's with the package, but maybe the applicant could speak to that, what that depth is off the road. But it's a minimum of 100 feet that has to be maintained. And then the side yard setback doesn't look as though the property is adjacent to a railroad right away. So the side yard setback follows the building setback, and the building setback is 30 feet. So the side and the rear has to be 30 feet, and the front yard has to be 100. And then it has to be screened with some sort of a screen fence, vegetation, and or a combination of both. And that's something that the commission can require as in connection with the application.
Understood.
And it looks like, has the outdoor, it's already started?
Yes, sir. Yes, it has.
Okay. And when did that start?
We took occupancy of the building March 1st.
Okay. So once you took occupancy, the company, not you,
Yes, correct.
they began storing outside?
Correct, yes.
And then presumably some enforcement action or letter or process took place that resulted with you being here tonight?
That is correct, yes. We received a phone call and a letter
Okay.
in reference to the zoning issues and things of that nature. But if I may, the month of March, the month of April, there was zero, I guess, tolerance to our operation in reference to vehicles being outside the gate and things of that nature to keep the professionalism up to our par. And since that time, since those photos were taken, the vehicles on the lot have dissipated. If that makes sense to you guys. In the month, the month of March and month of April, we were full capacity in reference to vehicles that were going to be there at one time. Since that time, I guess if you want to call it, the amount of vehicles have cut in half.
Can I ask you a question? How long is the vehicles gonna be there at any given time?
The average 30 to 60 days, sir. Now, some vehicles come in the same day and they leave within the first 24 hours or the first 3 hours. But worst case, 60 days.
So you're basically gonna have access to these, you know, what happens if they're stacked in the back or whatever, you're gonna have to move things around or what?
Well, yeah, we're their everyday operating, and what we've pretty much done is produced, you know, the property is a square, we produced an L, so we know what's coming and going at all times, so how to stage them in their proper places.
Now, these vehicles, are they leaking oil and antifreeze and all kinds of things, or are they pretty much dried out by the time you get them?
9 times out of 10, they're pretty much dried out. I would agree that, I think the FD can speak on my behalf possibly. If it comes from an accident scene, 9 times out of 10, if we're leaking fluids at the scene, it's been cleaned up at the scene.
So you're gonna have some oil, antifreeze, that kind
Right.
of thing, right?
If it's anything of any serious nature, we pad the vehicle underneath.
So, may I?
Oh, please.
Yeah, so you have probably half of what's seen in the photo in my report. That was an April 17th photo.
If I'm looking at this photo, sir.
Yeah, the one on the right there.
That is correct, yes, sir.
Probably have half of that.
Yes, because at that time, if you wanted to say on the south end of the property, there were rows of almost 5 vehicles at once, and now we're down to 2 rows.
Mhm.
So,
Do you see on the photo, there's some vehicles that are parked in a east-west
yes, sir.
fashion, they're all the way to the back, and those look very similar to the row in front of it, where they're parked north-south.
Correct.
And are those your vehicles that are being parked there?
No, sir.
Those are someone else's?
Those vehicles are owned by the gentleman at 40 Highland Road that acquired the property behind 460 Highland Road.
And so that, those along with the row in front of it are theirs,
Yes, sir.
and then once you get to the back end of whatever those are, like a flatbed truck or something, they all appear to be the same vehicle.
Correct. He has an abundance of those vehicles on that property.
And then once you get to the back of that, then that begins your company's.
Yes, sir.
And you have a requested, let's say, number of vehicles that you want to store at any given time?
That's up. I think high end's 100, low end's 50.
Okay. And how many are there in that picture, do you think?
Well, over 100, sir. I would say a solid 100, yes.
Yeah. And then, so then the outdoor storage itself, I'll just say for the commission's sake, that does have to take place on a hard surface. So it has to take place on either asphalt or concrete.
Okay.
And then with that, depending on the area that's being requested, it may require the city engineer's review of a stormwater management plan, because you'll have more hard surface and such.
Understood.
And that'll have to be prepared by a design professional.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
it seems, Mr. Chairman, so it seems it's condition permitted use, provided that map is correct, it shows the general industrial, so that's good. That eliminates a significant piece of the puzzle. And then, so then it would just be, there needs to be a plan that shows how it's gonna be screened, the area that's gonna be consumed by the outdoor storage on a site plan, and then how you're gonna pave it, whether it's gonna be asphalt or concrete, and then the engineer, depending on the size of the area, may require a stormwater management plan.
Okay. For clarification on our behalf, in reference to asphalt, would a hardened surface in reference to grinding be sufficient?
No, our code requires asphalt or concrete, not grindings.
Okay. May I ask a question regarding that? The property adjacent to ours, 480 Highland Road, which was partially our property, he's using the same site plan and he's parking on grindings.
So that's an enforcement matter for the administration to deal with. I don't think this commission approved anything, well, they couldn't.
Okay.
And then I also don't believe they went and received a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals, but that could be determined by the administration, but I don't believe they did.
Okay. Is that something I can apply for, our company can apply for in reference to?
So there's always administrative relief built into the code. And so the code says you have to have asphalt or concrete. If you want to do something different, you
Okay.
could seek a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Understood.
This commission can't grant that. That goes to a completely different body.
Okay.
And so that body would hear the matter as effectively like a court case. It's an adjudication hearing, essentially, where you have certain things you have to show in a request for a variance as an applicant, and the Board of Zoning Appeals in a quasi-judicial setting would act on that request using a specific set of criteria that has been recognized as the courts as things acceptable to evaluate an application. These folks can't approve that until the Board of Zoning Appeals takes that action up.
Understood, okay. I mean, thankfully at this time, probably it's 50/50, 50% asphalt, 50% grinding, so it's something we could definitely address if need be.
And how long has that back area been asphalt and grindings combination?
Last 30 years.
So it was before you folks took
Yes, sir.
on?
Yes, prior to us, it was an exterminating company, which they had outside storage. And then prior, this is many, many years ago, it was Campbell Machinery Company, and there was outside storage, and they had heavy equipment stored, I mean, all the way to the back tree line where the creek is.
I don't have any further questions.
Mr. July?
I have nothing.
Anything from the building department additional?
Nothing right now.
Okay. Fire department, guys?
Just a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are any of these vehicles that you're storing up against the building, or are they all parked away?
I did it against the building, runs and drives. It's just for quick access for the customer to pick up the vehicle. So we can change that, of course, if that's what it takes.
So that's temporary?
Yes, 100% temporary.
Okay.
We pretty much set it up as a horseshoe where you can drive in and drive out. And anything that's drivable, maybe there for, like I said, 3 to 12 hours, 24 hours up against the back of it. But it wouldn't refrain you guys from getting access if needed to the property.
So maintaining of the fire lane is obviously what I was.
Yes, I've been
and then
educated.
the code as far as off-site storage just said it has to be at least 20 feet away from a structure.
Okay, thank you.
What was the rear yard setback?
It'd be 30 for the side, 30 for the rear, and 100 for the front.
Yeah, I guess, looking at that, it's gonna, I think Mr. Wallenhurst was looking at the map, kind of measuring some of that. It's gonna tighten you up a good bit. I mean, you may have to rethink maybe that becomes the drive aisle around the outside edge or something like that, because it's at 30 feet. Is gonna, I don't know if the 100 will hurt you that bad, because that's back behind the front building.
Right. Well, that's where all the storage would take place. We're not, our plan is not to have anything outside of the fenced area. Everything will be behind the facility, the building as it is. I think it's 135 feet from the white line to the gate currently.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good, you're
Yeah,
a
they'll-
distance back.
There'll be nothing correct in front of that.
What other questions, you guys?
I do have a couple questions. So, I drive by that road every day basically, and there's been a motor home that's been sitting there since you guys took possession of that in
Okay.
March. So that's beyond kind of what you stated as being for how long vehicles would be parked there. Is there any plan to move that motor home anytime soon?
I'm gonna guess it's probably a motor home that's gonna be, if you're facing the property on the, it'd be on the east side of the lot. They'll have this inside.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually one of our employees' motor, that's why it's been there for so long.
Okay.
It's quote unquote his hunting habit.
Okay. And then do you guys also occupy a building that's a few doors down as well?
502 Highland Road,
Mm-hmm.
we occupied, in the last 12 months we've taken possession back of the property. We've owned it for the last 20 years.
Okay,
But yes, it is, as that property, everything is in the fenced-in area except fleet trailers that we own that are outside of the building.
okay. Is there any plan to move those somewhere else, cause they've been sitting there for quite some time?
Yes, they
Just-
have been. It's not something that we were gonna make it a priority, but if it's something that would move things along, I can definitely make something happen.
I think it just speaks to the way that that's looked from time to time.
Okay?
Just what this could potentially start to look like, because right now that does look like a junkyard. I mean,
Okay.
there's cars that are consistently between this location and your new one.
Okay?
And again, some of them don't move, especially like that motorhome, even though it's not, one that's there, but it is being stored now.
I
So,
understand.
it looks bad from the street for both locations, so.
Okay.
That's just my two comments on this.
So yeah, your current recommendations, France, doesn't necessarily apply anymore unless further research would confirm it. The zoning was that what you thought it was, we believe.
Yeah, I think, it seems to me that the basis of the application to assume that it's general industrials is a fair assumption, given that the map does indicate there was a rezoning that took place in 2013. I just don't recall that, and I've been searching through my files and I don't see anything. But that doesn't mean it wasn't rezoned. So with that said, you go on the basis that it is zoned appropriately and it's a conditional permit, you still need those items to evaluate the application. You'll need a site plan that will show the area exactly that's being requested for the outdoor storage. The applicant will need to either create a hard surface, asphalt or concrete, or seek a variance. And then we'll need to provide, on that scaled site plan, a means for screening. It looks like there's some desire to do maybe some fencing, chain, what were you thinking, fencing?
I was gonna put slats in the fence, so it would cut the vision down to about 90%, decrease it where you couldn't see in from the street.
Yeah, so, and I hope you don't tell me the neighbor's using slats, because those aren't permissible, so you'll have to use some sort of a solid, like a board-on-board fence, but the slats, wouldn't be permitted.
Okay.
So those are the things I think you'll need to provide, and if you don't have to answer tonight, but if you're thinking that you're gonna go for a variance, you can, work with the building department. Susan can help you with that process to get onto the Board of Zoning Appeals, and then you would come back here, depending on what happens with the BZA, then you'd come back here for your final approval. And you could at that time have your site plan to indicate exactly what you're doing. And then this commission, provided you have that variance, then they'd be able to provide, hopefully an approval at that time. Again, you have a few things you are gonna have to do in terms of screening to show us what it's gonna be, the area exactly, but you'll kind of do that through the Board of Zoning Appeals. If you decide you're just gonna pave it, then you would need to have some, sort of stormwater management plan, most likely, and you can work with the building department through the city engineer to confirm that.
Okay.
So what I would probably recommend then at this point to continue the case to allow the applicant time to determine how he wants to address the hard surface issue and then the fencing type, and then provide that site plan that shows exactly where he's gonna do the outdoor storage. Keeping in mind 30 on each side, 30 on the rear and 100 in the front. I think your front's probably fine,
Right,
but
front is up,
yeah.
135.
Yeah, so that's what you'd have to do, and then that'll come to the commission after you determine what you're gonna do with your hard surface.
Understood.
Yep.
Okay. Good recommendation. Any more comments?
No.
With that, I'll make a motion to continue this, to allow the applicant, to provide the items listed by Mr. Francis's discussion there a minute ago. And continue that, I don't know, I think we said, Susan, that the next submission date would need to be, I think it's Monday for the next meeting.
Well, it's usually on a Friday, but it's not this Friday, I don't think I can get it next Friday.
I don't know if that's gonna be enough time, basically it's a little less than 2 weeks to get your stuff pulled together.
The way it sounds like my best approach is to go for a variance in reference to the hard surface.
So now I make a motion to continue this to the August meeting, to allow the applicant time to prepare those documents and make some choices and possibly follow with the BZA. Is there a second?
Second that.
Any more discussion on the? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Thank you.
For being agreeable.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too. Mr. Chair, I do have a question in regard to that rear property.
Yeah.
Mr. Franz, you know.
Okay.
Mr. Franz, the property that they're directly behind that has those other vehicles being stored on it, were you able to see if that area has been paved for those vehicles, or is it just all being parked on grass currently or whatever back there?
Well, I think that's probably gonna be a question for the building department to determine if a variance, I mean, you as a commission could not have allowed that.
Correct.
I remember us taking up that case and discussing it. I remember talking about the fact that the back area was general industrial, even though the front might be as well. But they would not have been able to store it on a non-hard surface.
Okay.
So one of two things, either they went and got variance, or they're doing it illegally.
Okay.
Oh, I suppose there could be a third thing, they got approval to do hard surface, and they just haven't yet, and they're still doing it.
We're gonna go with that.
Yeah.
That's
Every
pretty
option.
easy.
All right, the next, propose a change to monument sign for Greystone Village, located at the entrance to the subdivision, Bennington Court, East Twinsburg Road. Is there some, you here represent?
Yes. Hello.
Hi,
How are you guys today?
good. Can you get your name for the record?
Yes, Kevin Holiday.
And who are you with?
I'm with the sign up.
Okay. Proposal is pretty straightforward. I don't know if you want to give any other overview or if you want to.
I think it was pretty simple. All we're looking to do is take down this big bulky sign, and what we're gonna do is put aluminum aluminum stud, wow. Aluminum stud mounted letters on the brick area there.
Okay.
I have the dimensions, they're, should be listed, yeah, 13¼ inches tall for the capital G and capital V lowercase signs, or lowercase letters, a little bit shorter. But total width will be 10 feet. We just wanted to go something a little smaller, a little less bulky.
Mr. Francis, would you like to go over your thoughts?
Sure, I guess I'll just ask a question. Has the sign already been installed?
The letters, no.
No. So, I included a photo in my report. Did you see my report?
No, I did not see your report.
That was the existing.
So, there's a sign here, there's a sign in the island here.
There's no sign in the island.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, this picture that you're pulling from Google Maps is outdated. Because I looked it up on Google Maps and saw the same thing.
So, will there be two subdivision entrance signs then?
There currently is, yes, and we would take both of those down and replace those signs with stud-mounted aluminum letters.
With the proposal that you're showing.
Yes, on the brick. So right now, the signs they're on a bracket that's standing on top of the brick. This will go on the front of the brick.
Mm-hmm. And in this island here, in the middle, there's not,
There's nothing right now, and there's not going in the middle.
and you'll have two at the end of this.
Yes, because right now there's two of those oval signs,
Mm-hmm.
taking those down.
And doing the stud mounted letters, which
Yep.
will look better. And so I guess that was one issue I raised, is I just don't know if a variance was processed for, because the way the code reads, 117907G states that two signs for residential subdivision are only permitted when there's two separate entrances. They may have gone and got a variance at some point. Might that be something the administration would just need to, look up.
Yeah, do you happen to know when they changed it from the one sign on the median to the two signs?
I don't know that.
Okay.
So there was one in the median, right?
Yeah, I'm looking, yeah.
Is there still a brick structure there? Or just there, and there's no sign, or,
I think there still is a brick structure.
okay.
Looks like.
Yeah, I see
Yeah.
that in the, and then I see the two on each, that flank each side, so it looks like there's.
So I would say that provided there was a variance, and they can have two, the stud mounted, would look much better, and it's within the code in terms of the area. I think, maybe it was 3 square feet. What's the size of the sign they proposed? Is it 43 square feet?
What I have proposed, 13 and a quarter inches by 10 feet. So about 11 to 12 feet per sign.
So yeah, it's a 10-foot sign in length, total length, and then,
Then the letters are 13 and a quarter inches tall.
yeah, so it's well within the requirements, of the 40 square feet, because the sign itself is pretty small. It sits on the brick wall, but.
Yeah, it's significantly smaller than the signs that are
Yeah.
standing on the brick base.
Oh, yeah, yeah, so it would be, how the code reads, there's a single geometric shape that's drawn around so in this case, it'd be a long rectangle, and the square footage is only like 11 square feet total for each of the signs, so it's well within it. So I'd say that the commission can approve it subject to just confirmation that there was a variance for that second sign. And if there isn't, they would need to get a variance for the second sign, because there's not two entrances to the development, and that's how the code reads.
Even though that island exists and it kind of, like that, I don't forget the name of the road, Pendleton Court separates.
Yeah, it's one entrance.
Yeah, there's just one entrance, because there's like a footpath to the other, but not an auto entrance into the other development.
Okay.
It was purposely cut off. So there's just one entrance into the development. My suspicion is maybe they went and got a variance, and if so, then it's a moot point, and then the commission approving it subject to would just mean that they had a variance and you can proceed forward. If they didn't, then they would either have to eliminate one of the signs or seek a variance for the second one. Because they can't approve a second one the way the code's written.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I did need a variance, would I go to for that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would recommend these folks consider approving it tonight, subject to, that way you don't have to come back. Because you're within the area requirements, you just have to, deal with the second identification sign.
Okay.
And if Susan finds out, from looking in the office that a variance was obtained, you don't have anything to worry about, you just get your permit from them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other comments? Anybody else have any concerns? Building permit? That's good. Got a question?
Oh, no, I would just, I know you have some fairly mature boxwood there, I would, you know, just see to it that they either keep after them or replace it with something lower so that they don't grow to block those next thing others. That was probably my only comment on that, it doesn't even affect the approval, it's just,
Okay. Hold on,
I think it's a nice change. It's big old.
Yeah. You guys have any thoughts, any questions?
No, I don't. I think it look really nice.
I'll make a motion.
All right.
No, why don't you do it?
No, go ahead.
Make a motion to approve tonight, on the basis of confirming that 2 signs have already been approved for this entrance. Okay, so,
For variance. Yeah.
for variance, yeah.
Okay. Any other, or is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other thoughts? Or, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, hopefully,
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
It's not on me to find out if there's a variance, is there?
Oh, I'm gonna look it up.
Okay. All right, thank you.
yeah, just checking with
Okay.
Susan.
Do you have my info, or do you need it?
I have your info.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys, have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
What's that?
I never knew those two.
Yeah.
It's like they were
Going back
supposed
there
to.
one time, yeah. Next item is a proposed mining sign for Divinity Landing, 10439 Valley View Road.
Good evening, I'm Eric Kramer, I'm with ASI Signage. We are representing National Church Residences, Divinity Landing, which is at the address that you mentioned. This will be a aluminum cabinet sign that is 3.5 feet tall by, give me 1 second.
While you're doing that, just to note for the record, Ms. Meskey's recusing herself for this item due to some.
They've worked on the project, so.
So 3.5 feet tall, 8 foot long, 12 inches deep, big aluminum box. And then that box will have dimensional letters and a dimensional logo attached to those faces. The logo, which is like the upside down W look, that is aluminum, and then it's painted. All of the letters, not the address, the handicap symbol, or the HUD symbol, all the letters are painted acrylic letters that are stud mounted to the face of the sign. The handicap HUD and address are vinyl. They're applied to the face of the sign. The masonry base, the brick color matches the same brick that is on the building that's being built currently, and then it does have a sandstone top that caps the masonry base. This will be at the entrance of their driveway off of the access road going to the bowling alley. You gotta drive back past the dental office, like you're going to the bowling alley, then it turns off of there. Currently, they did do recently landscaping there with a fence. Put a fence up to keep people from accessing the site, but they also did some landscaping on the left-hand side. There's a tree, some low perennials we should be right in front of them. However, there is a gas line running along the side of the road there. Once we get OOPS involved to mark this for dig, we might have to push the sign back a little bit from the access road going to the bowling alley, so we are not in line or hitting that gas line anyway, which could affect that landscaping that they did. They are proposing just to bring that landscaping up to and around the base of this sign, but there is a tree that they planted in that landscaping, which might have to be treated.
It's unfortunate.
Yes,
Yeah.
they would have to relocate it somewhere else, or move it down the driveway a little bit.
Hopefully we'll make it. Okay. With that, Francis, you want to go over your comments?
Sure, yeah, my report stated June 4th, and we have reviewed this previously, and the sign was located out at the main road, which was a significant issue because it's on someone else's property, so it's considered off-premise signage. So the applicant has revised that and have done a good job. It meets all the area and setback requirements. It really just boils down to the, as you described it, a big aluminum box with stud mounted letters. The commission has required other applicants to move to a decorative surround with dimensional letters on a decorative surround and base as opposed to a plastic cabinet. And then they've also required landscaping around the sign. It sounds like there is some, it may or may not be aligned with the signage as it's proposed. But those are two issues. One, typically landscaping around the base of the sign. And then two, the commission has moved away from these, aluminum or plastic boxes into something a little more decorative in nature. I can answer any questions you may have.
Any comment, any other closing comments? All right. Questions? So the box is what?
It's all aluminum. In the memorandum, it mentions plastic faces, plastic cabinet, it is mentioned in there, but it is all aluminum. The only part of it that is plastic are the letters themselves, and those are surface painted plastic letters, acrylic. And they are stud mounted into the cabinet, so they are not just gonna fall off and all of a sudden you're missing a letter or part of the letter.
And the location, as he's talking about this, where it's at, that's a private drive back there. We're not on a public right of way. There's no setback things we're worried about. And if it would have to move a few feet, nothing, that didn't affect any recommendation on your behalf.
Yeah, it sounds like it's currently proposed like 14 feet from the access road, and you'd go back a little further potentially.
Right, we would go back further if OOP says, you're 3 feet from the gas line where we're gonna start dig, we gotta move it back 3 feet to be 6 feet to give that clearance. Thank you, there's the word.
It sounds like they're perfectly fine.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Is the sign lighted?
No,
It's not lighted at all?
it is not currently planned to be illuminated.
Do they have any plans to like landscape around it or put any lighting on the sign at all?
They plan to bring that landscaping that's there to the sign.
Okay,
So the mulch bed will continue up with the low perennials that they have already there, bringing more in around the base of the sign. But at this time, they have no intention of illuminating the sign externally.
okay, gotcha.
And this one is not able to be illuminated internally in the future. So they would have to cut a big hole in the side of it. And I'm sure you guys would say no.
That's good, proposing full foundation and everything. I don't have any issues. Scott, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I had a question. So when you said the letters are painted, are those painted after the fact, like to the point of where they may start to chip and peel and not look right after a certain amount of time?
They should not. They are painted with an automotive grade paint. So it, as I usually tell clients, if you buy a new red Ford truck today, 15 years from now, that red's not gonna look the same, but it's still
Right.
gonna be a red truck.
Okay.
So it's gonna hold the colors well, not chip, crack,
Okay.
fade, peel, any of that kind of issues with them, but it will fade out over time. Of course, I guess the Divinity landing part is the only one that's really of a copper color.
Yeah, that would
paint.
be that would,
That could eventually start to pink. But that's, 15 years from now, that's gonna,
They'll probably want, if it starts to look.
yeah,
better,
I would
they
hope so.
want it to-
and at that point, the letters could be taken off, repainted, placed back in place.
Mr. Franz, what was your to say about aluminum cabinets?
Well, I think that you haven't allowed aluminum or
I didn't think we had.
plastic or
Yeah.
otherwise, you moved away from that, but maybe, the consideration it's not out on the public right away, it's kind of tucked back, would be something you'd want to take into consideration.
And the side's painted as well, it's not.
Correct.
I think in the location, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it from a location standpoint. My concern is that if we do this on this one, what's, the next one that comes along? Are they going to?
I would say yes, yeah, if somebody asked about it, I think
The
at this
distance.
location and its
Yeah.
distance from the public right away.
Okay.
Way deep under, I'd be okay with it.
Okay, I'm good with that.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
Second.
All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A quick question, how do I pick up the permit, or does that get mailed out?
Yeah, I put it through, I'll need a permanent sign application to fill one of those out.
I think we have.
It's in that folder if you did. If you didn't, then I'll get that from you and then I'll put it through.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.
Alright, next item, proposed lot split at 8694, 8700, and 8714 North Bedford Road. I assume that's you guys. Come on up.
Save the best for last.
The most patient too.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
That's the most patient.
If you build, you better be patient.
Been up since 4, so yeah.
All right, can we get your names for the record?
Leonard,
Go ahead.
Leonard Keane.
Pamela King McGilbert.
All right. Just want to give us a brief overview of what you got proposed here.
The reason for, rezone, or not rezone, redoing the lots,
Yeah.
the current lots at 8694 and 8700 are 70 feet wide. I'm planning on building a new construction at 8694. My sister and her husband are gonna build a house at 8700. We'd like to make those standard 100-foot wide lots. One, because that's standard for Macedonia, plus a 70-foot wide lot limits you to what kind of new constructions you can build on that property. And then the 8714, we want to partition that off, because we have a potential buyer for that. And just so everyone knows, that's actually the property, 8694, that's a property we grew up on. So all of our plans are not, this is not a temporary, like, somebody's coming in, because there's approximately 15 acres, it's not planning on being subdivided into a bunch of homes. These are pretty much our forever homes.
Good, good. Glad you're sticking around.
Well, my parents bought in 1967 on property, so we've been in Macedonia for a very long
I
time.
was just gonna say, probably the oldest,
Some of the oldest.
we've been here longest, all than you guys.
Yeah. All right. Raj, just go over here.
Sure. Yeah, my report's dated June 7th. So again, the proposal is to create an additional lot by splitting and consolidating 3 existing lots. So the 3 existing parcels, 8694 North Bedford, which is existing parcel ending in 966. So that's 8694. And then 8700 ends in 1424. And then 8714 ends in 2291. 2291. They're all zoned R1 Residence District. Essentially, as the applicant stated, they're just moving parcel lines in order to create that.
More
fourth-
desirable size lots.
Yeah, and then have that fourth lot, basically. Because you have 3 now, and you're gonna go to 4.
Well, actually, there's another parcel, but it's not included in the surveying. Well, no, at 8694, there's another parcel, but it's not included in this because we didn't change any of the property lines on that. Because 8694, that's where I currently live. There's another lot there, which is a total of approximately 5 acres.
Yeah, that's ending in 965.
It might be, I don't remember.
So it went all the way to the south. South 8694?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that property is gonna be L-shaped, and then where my sister's gonna be, basically, that's gonna kind of be a U-shape. It's gonna kind of go around 8714. Like I said, we're just making that smaller to sell off the house instead of, because we demoed the house at 8700 already, and, 8714 was still a house that we could sell, so there's no reason to demo that one.
So the one to the south, we established where I'm pointing to,
Yes.
is that part of this application?
It's not as far as moving any property lines, but I'm just mentioning it, that's part of my property also.
Yeah, you own it, but it's not subject of this application.
No, I'm just letting you know that it's,
Yeah,
Adjacent.
yeah, for sure. And so, but the affected parcels, you have 3 affected parcels, and you're creating a total of 4.
correct.
So you're going from 3 to 4.
Yes,
So the purpose may be to give some more frontage, but it's also to create an additional lot.
no, it's not really to create the additional lot, it's really just for the frontage. As far as to go a little more in depth of what the plans are,
Let me just ask, because I'm not I think I'm missing something, or one of us aren't
Okay.
communicating. You have 8694,
yes,
that's a lot.
yes,
You have 8700, that's a lot.
yes,
And then you have this big piece,
correct,
which is 8714,
yes,
that's 1 lot.
correct.
So that's
Currently,
3.
yes,
You're gonna take those, you're gonna move lines around, and you're gonna create this thing up here.
That will be only 8714. So 8700 is going to consume the greater portion of that 8714.
well, that lot's not gonna actually currently have an address, but that large piece will be part of her property of 8700.
So 8700 and the remaining balance of all of this,
Is gonna be hers. And the
That's
reason,
all
that's
gonna
why I
be-
mentioned that other lot that I have, is kind of the same thing as what I'm currently doing.
did you understand that?
No.
Case? Oh, okay, either did I.
So I think it's.
I think what Brian is saying, if I could interject, is the plat he has in his hand
Doesn't show
shows
that.
a total of
Yes,
4
yes,
lots
it will.
when you're complete. But currently, in that overall envelope, only 3 lots exist.
Currently, yes.
That's the
You are
question
correct.
you're asking.
So you are going to have a
You're-
4th
You're
lot?
going
There
from
will
3
be a
lots to
fourth
4
parcel,
lots.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes.
My meaning was just, she's gonna have 2 of those for her property, just like I currently have 2.
But they're gonna
But
be
they're
separate
separate
lots.
legal
Just as mine are currently 2 separate lots.
But the goal
also.
was not to create a fourth lot to
Correct,
sell off and
no.
put
That's
another
not-
home. I think
that's
that's,
not-
Again, Chairman?
yeah.
Yes, you're 100%.
The purpose was not to create a fourth property to sell off and put another home there.
Well, it sounds like that is.
No,
No,
it's
there's
not.
gonna be 2 brand new, 2
There will
new
only be 2
constructions.
new constructions there.
I wanna set aside new construction.
Okay,
You have 3 lots now,
correct.
you're gonna go to 4.
Yes,
You're creating a 4th lot.
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think when he's saying, you know, we're gonna have 3, you know, her
You're
property is
100%
gonna be made up of 2 parcels, her property, but she's
Right,
gonna own
right.
2 of them.
Right, 8,700 and the
And the
balance
big
of the
one.
big one.
Yes.
Yes.
Right, but they're not one parcel.
Right,
They're
not
gonna be
one
2 separate
parcel, But it's
parcels,
gonna be
Correct.
all
Both buildable.
hers.
both
Correct.
buildable.
Both buildable, but the goal is, the
Not-
purpose of it,
Not
I
really
guess.
buildable.
Not legal parcels or anything, but just, I think they were expressing what their goal was with it, not necessarily what the legal,
Yeah.
The goal is for her to have 2 of those parcels, not planning on putting a house on. even
There is a
though
power line that
could.
runs right through. the
Yeah,
middle.
right,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
through here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you have limitations there to build anyway, so
yeah.
we have to give them the right of way.
But typically, so when we review plats, there's this little symbol that's kind of like that. It's a little funky little hook,
Okay.
and that tells me they're being combined, but you're not combining those. Even though you're gonna be the same owner, you are gonna have separate lots that could be built on in the
Right,
future.
one's gonna be vacant land essentially on the north side, and then the 8,700 to the south of that big piece of.
Where the
parcel,
house will be.
It will be where the house is, yes.
So it gets to the issue that I've raised in my report. So all of the technical side of it, it all looks fine to me.
Okay,
But it gets to the issue that I raised in my report, which is this little structure.
Yes,
That little structure will be on its own separate vacant lot, and you can't have that under the code. It's an accessory structure, accessory to something, which would be a principally permitted use or a building. So now it currently sits on the same as the house that sits up in the
Correct,
front.
yes.
So that's an accessory use to the main house in the front. When you separate it out, it no longer is it's just an accessory building that's accessory to nothing other than itself, and you can't have that under the code.
okay.
So do you intend on keeping that? If you were
We
gonna,
wanted to temporarily keep that just for storage, because eventually she'd like to build, her and her husband would like to build an outbuilding. Just as I have on my property, there's a pole barn that's on that other one that you don't see on there.
Mhm.
And basically, we wanted to do the same thing.
But you would build it, the new one, let's just flesh that out real quick. You build the new one and this one would go away.
This
Correct.
will go away
Yeah.
when the new one is.
Correct. Where does the new one go? Does it go somewhere on this
In that
big?
same general vicinity.
So see, that's the issue. You can't do that because this is a separate vacant lot. If you're gonna do this little hook thing that I talked about, that's less impactful because you'll eventually have a house on here. So this structure cannot sit on that parcel by itself.
Well, that hook, is that just something we can have the surveyors add to that?
So how, well, when the surveyor looks at it, they would, I feel like I need to be Vanna White here, okay? Remember Vanna?
Professor.
So the surveyor would take and combine all of this into one legal description. And so there's not 2 lots. What they've done is they've created a legal description for 8,700 and a legal description for this. So that's where a lot of the confusion came from. So this is gonna be its own separate parcel.
What Brian's saying is if what you're proposing as A and what you're proposing as C were one larger parcel, his concern would be alleviated.
It would
Is
be
that correct?
generally alleviated because you'd still, until you built your house, you would still have an accessory building on a vacant lot. So what, I don't know how the city wants to handle that. It's, the commission
So
can't.
let me ask one question if I may interrupt. So are you saying that even after this house is built, then that additional building is still not permitted?
It can't be on that vacant parcel.
You can't have so the parcel, whether you own them both or not, and it's all yours, it's still, the way you got it drawn up, it's a separate parcel, it's a separate
Right.
property. It can't have like a garage without a house.
We already have that. We have a pole barn at 86.
Well, what I'm asking,
Yeah.
that symbol that you put, if we add that to it,
Don't bring it up.
Well, it actually,
Yeah, don't tell us
I'm just being honest.
So at 8694, you're saying you already have a,
I'm not allowed to tell you.
it's
no.
okay, it's fine. You have an
Yes,
accessory
yes,
building on
yes, there is.
8694.
His grandfather.
it's on
did,
that parcel
I
that you
guess.
can't see that's on there.
Yeah, well, I think maybe it's that, maybe that's it. And is 8694, who's gonna build on that one?
8694 is me, that's where I currently reside.
So there is
The
a
only thing
house.
Oh,
Yeah, it will get torn down too.
It's got something on it.
oh,
south.
on the,
yeah,
the one that we're not talking about. Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah, I don't, remember Sergeant Schultz?
Yes.
You and I are old enough to remember,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I know nothing, I see nothing. That's how we're gonna treat the one to the south.
So
All right, so what do I gotta do
8700
to
was
place
where the
salt
house
on
was
the other
knocked
one?
down.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is
so,
there any
Is
way
that-
to get a variance
Are
on
you
that?
building on
Because the way
8700
that my
Yes.
idea for the
Okay.
house
She's gonna
plan,
build a new construction on that.
on the
I
8700?
really
Yes.
like,
Okay.
the way that I have it in my head is the building is, that's where it needs to go. I can't put it right behind the house.
well, let me ask you a question. Why do you want it to be a separate parcel?
Because that's where,
Let me answer that one.
Okay.
It was just easier to move the lines straight over 100 feet, but that's why I was asking, do we just need to add that symbol? Or do we just need to take that imaginary line between 8700 and that fourth lot? Can we just eliminate that?
Yeah,
Yes.
you can, but it's not as simple as a eraser. Your
Well,
surveyor,
surveyor will have to.
yeah, is
but I
gonna
know
have
it'd
to
be easy
create
for-
a legal description that effectively is this. Which is what you described.
no,
Yep. All right.
sorry, I didn't mean to look over your
No,
shoulder.
no, I'm glad you did, I'm glad you did.
Keeping it straight.
All right,
Show
so
them that, Brian.
that is what your surveyor needs to create.
Yeah.
That U shape that you talked about.
Yes.
And to
Yeah.
do that, they'll give you a new,
All B1.
they'll give you a new legal description
Okay.
and a new plat map. And actually, frankly, how many acres will that be total then?
I think that's 7 on that one.
You might be able to, don't hold me to this, but you could call the county and might be able to get an exemption for some of your taxes on a larger parcel if there's enough agricultural work being done on the
that's
property.
been discussed. Other people have advised that. I don't know much about it,
Well,
but
that piece of property that we're not supposed to speak about, that building, is 32 by 48. The city of Macedonia said no, but it was done under agricultural in 1985.
Okay, so it's whatever it is.
I'm just saying, it was done the same way as what you're speaking.
so what you're saying is there's kind of like a behind the barn concept that we could, if.
No,
they
he was
were-
just saying that there's possibilities of cheapening the taxes if you
Potentially.
potentially.
Yes.
With a larger parcel. I'm advocating for you, if you're not
Right.
doing anything with this, when I looked at this, I assumed somebody wanted to build another house somewhere
No,
back here.
no, no.
That's not the case, you're gonna build it here.
There's power lines there.
There-
Nobody's-
Yeah, they come in through
It's
here.
not gonna be subdivided. I
So
guess.
with that
It'd be a
said,
dirt track.
you may be better
My
off
grandson.
Yeah, because,
combining it for that
yeah,
reason.
because what you were showing previously,
Well, I
before
don't
you,
have a problem removing
yeah,
that
That's
line
what you
as far as the drawing.
Mhm.
Because that's just a matter, because actually I made a change right before we did this and he had it done in like 2 hours.
yeah, it's an easy enough thing for the surveyors to do. I think Brian's right.
So what I would say, and we'll hear from Mr. Gelati if he has additional concerns, but that was my biggest concern. So what I would suggest is if the commission wants to approve it rather than continue you, they could approve it subject to this discussion tonight, and it for a final administrative review amongst myself and the city engineer for compliance with what we talked about tonight, which means you don't have to wait to come back to another meeting if they were inclined to do that. And then you could just go do your work with your surveyor, it gets submitted to the building department, he and I will review it, make sure it meets all the standards, and then it can be approved because the commission already approved, if they were inclined to do that.
And I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and it would save you a meeting. Because I understand what you're doing now, and I also see where the confusion came in. Now, for the record, purposes, I would encourage the city to enter into a little development agreement with you that ensures that you do what you say you're gonna do. You seem like really honest people, and I know you will, but I've seen a lot of times where people will say things and then they don't comply. And
We have no problem doing
Yeah.
that. There's actually a guy that I use for excavating, he's begging me to develop that, and I said, my sister will shoot me if I do that.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
buckeye tree on this property too, and he wanted to take it down. I'm like, absolutely
gonna
not,
happen.
it's not happening, I'm the oldest, listen.
And it's entirely up to the city. That's what I would do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we would have
You
no
know.
problem signing an agreement or something, because
Sure.
like I said, these are our forever home. My parents bought 1967.
Yeah.
I've lived other places, but technically that's been my residence since 1970.
Yeah, and basically all it would be is a simple agreement that says, hey, you have an outbuilding on this property and you don't have a main home yet. You're gonna build a main home, you'll tell the city, I think I'm gonna be doing it in blank. They'll
Okay.
put that into the agreement, maybe have like an extra year to sign to give you an extra year if you don't quite get it to that timetable, and then have some kind of a financial guarantee to ensure that you do it. And if you don't, then the city could tear it down for you at your cost from the financial guarantee that you provide. That's what I would recommend to the city. That's up to the administration if they want to do that.
Sounds good to me.
Good, well, I fully understand your application now.
Well, we start moving property lines on 4 or 5 properties, it get
Yeah,
confusing.
Yeah.
So kind of, we'll get to this in July. So I guess your options are tear the building down, which you don't really want to do right now.
Not at this moment in time, but
Or,
It will be-
potentially it will be,
yeah.
yes.
or combine that, you know, the last long one and the big one into one big giant one. I guess another option could be, instead of having the line here, you could move it to like here to encompass that
The line
building,
really,
but
the line really doesn't matter to us.
It's
if you got no
Relevant, yeah.
problem, do it as one big giant thing. You can
I
always
agree.
split something up differently later and go through this whole process again. But yeah, if you might get a tax break that's bigger, that'd be great. Or, it's not like it's not going anywhere, you guys,
No,
it's-
really, we were doing a
somebody-
survey to try to keep it as
Kids are
simple as
gonna be there
possible.
eventually. so-
Because we were just moving the property lines over.
Yeah.
Basically, the way I look at, I added 30 feet to my lot, and then that made that 40 feet. We took 60 from the other lot to make that 100. That was basically the
Good.
whole concept behind why we did currently what
And
we
also
did.
so that you
And
you
partition
weren't
off the
limited
house
with
we
house
sell.
designs.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So July, do you have anything additional?
Not really, so I had all sorts of notes made up as I reviewed your plat, and to one degree or another, we've discussed them all here in this meeting, so that's a good thing. I agree with Brian, making what you're calling A and what you're calling C into one larger parcel. It's kind of a U-shaped parcel that generally alleviates the problem. We're happy to review that administratively if Planning Commission were to approve tonight. I would say that the First Energy easement should also be shown on the plat as well. That's a,
Yes.
yeah, that's a
yes.
major item on
Oh,
the
absolutely,
property.
right.
The surveyor should be showing that on the plat as well. So in addition to erasing the lines and creating the legal description for A and C, the surveyor also should show that on the plat. Makes
Okay, I
a
can
complete
imagine
plat.
that,
I'm a little surprised he did not show it the first time around, but
Yeah,
please
you're
ask
right.
him to do so.
You're gonna need that because there's most likely like 100-foot setback off of those lines, at least 100 feet.
I've
So when
asked
you go
several
to
people,
build,
and I
you'll
can't get a
Yeah,
definite
this is
answer.
for buildings south of where the power lines are, for sure.
But it's readily available for the surveyor.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but if you do all those things and the planning commission approves tonight, we can review administratively. And make sure it's signed and stamped by the surveyor, and make sure you folks sign it before you submit to Susan.
Okay. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Can I just say for the record, just so you know, that it sounds like you might have somebody interested in that.
I already have somebody interested in purchasing it, yes.
So just so you know, they won't be able to go any further toward Bedford Road
As
with
far as,
any kind of an addition, porch or otherwise, because
Right.
it's legal non-conforming. It's
Right.
in the front setback. They could go to the back,
Yeah, because I think it currently has like a 70-foot setback. or
Yeah, I
something,
think that's
but
what it's showing.
that must have been, because my house currently has a 70-foot setback,
Yeah, it hits yours too, yeah.
which is, I don't like how close it is to the street, but.
Yeah.
Oh, they
why
built
it
them
should
a
be
long
a-
time
Ours will be
ago.
about 120, 150, so.
I think Summit County has my house listed as being built in 1922, so.
Really?
Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that, so the next person, at least they know they can't do anything
I have a
about it.
question, it has nothing to do with this, but since we brought up the power lines that are there, does the city know who I need to contact to get anything done? Because they're supposed to upkeep, so they have access to it, and they've just completely rutted it out. I can't find nobody. Like, if I go over there and even try to cut the grass, I mean, my mowers will completely fall in ruts that are like 2 foot deep. Because they're supposed to keep it gravelled, from what I'm told.
I live right around the corner, I noticed that.
Every time somebody shows up there, I ask, and everybody's like, we're just a contractor working for them. So I didn't know if the city knew.
See, like, sometimes they just pull their truck right up in the front,
Yeah.
so then they don't get caught driving. I've noticed that too, they'll put the truck right at the front
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
I'm not happy with that, but when if somebody's out of sight and out of mind, you can't ever find the person. So I just didn't know if the city knew.
Well, why don't you give me a call in the morning,
Okay,
all right? I may have something for you.
okay.
The city has a government affairs rep from First Energy that they work with, so they probably would be able to help get you
Well,
in
any
the right
support you
direction.
guys could lend to,
I'm
you
surprised they
know,
didn't clean it out,
guidance.
because my backyard has the power lines too, and they came and cut
Yeah, I
down
know.
some trees in my backyard.
Years ago, because again, I've lived there my whole life, and
Yep.
that particular address, 8714, they used to be an excavating company, Zeman Excavating, and Danny and Eileen Zeman. They kept that, like every couple of years, they'd come in and throw a little gravel down, which they were happy with it, because they used that as an extra driveway. But now it's overgrown, it's gotten to the point that I can't even, because I used to try to cut all of that, but it's gotten so bad I can't hardly take my equipment over there. Every now and then I'll try to cut towards the front as much as I can before it gets rutted too bad. But every year it's getting worse, because they just keep bringing more equipment, and what happens, like in the springtime or the fall, when you get a lot of rain, I mean, they've actually brought stuff in and had to have mini excavators pull pickup trucks out of there, because they completely sink to the axles.
I'm surprised they didn't do that when they were doing them last year, because they came and trimmed all the
Well, they
trees.
said, yeah, you know, we'll let them know, but nobody's followed up.
Yeah, like every time I see any truck over there, I go over there and like, can I get a phone number for somebody? But I'll give you a call in the morning.
Yeah, give me a call in the morning, I may have something for you. I mean, I don't know if it'll do any good, but it'll help.
All we do is
You
try.
have anything?
No comments.
Anything else? Anything other? Okay. Scott, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, the only comment I had was just, I know you mentioned you want to put up a barn at some point, just make sure that you may need a variance if you're looking to go bigger than what is allowable, so.
So I guess I need to find out what the allowables are.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, I just figured I'd bring it to your attention
Yes.
now, so you don't get all the way down house design, you have an ideal size of your barn, and then find out that there's a limitation. Yeah, Mr. Francis.
Well, I think they've changed, do they not go by how much land? Because it used to be you could only go so many feet, but I thought that got changed.
Yeah, no, it's the same, so you are limited to 600 square feet, but the other advantage of making your lot
That's
bigger
why it was.
is
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
have a larger lot, and there's
Mhm.
provisions to allow a bigger accessory building.
Okay,
It can't exceed the size of the main home,
obviously.
but,
Yeah.
because then it's not accessory anymore.
Right.
But, so that's basically kind of a limitation, but that does require a conditional zoning certificate that comes here to the planning commission.
Okay,
So when that time comes, what I would recommend you do is get your files from your surveyor, or just maintain that relationship with them, because they can take those and draw in exactly where you want and the size, because you'll need
Okay.
a scaled site plan, and you'll already have it.
right, okay.
Yep.
And you're saying basically it would obviously need to be zoned as an agricultural piece of property then?
No,
No,
not necessarily.
no, it just-
It's already gonna be larger, so that would allow it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, with you basically combining, that was gonna be my question, of why not combine the two? Now that you'll have a larger piece of property, it gives you a little bit more leeway to have a larger structure. I just didn't know what that percentage was, so.
So the code currently doesn't place a limitation when you have a larger parcel, other than it can't exceed the main
Size of the
home
home.
square footage.
You can't have a 900 square foot home and have a
2,000 square foot,
bar,
yeah, you
right?
can't do that, because then the barn is the main use.
So no barndominiums.
Yeah, so, but I'm just
I
saying
wanna tell
that
my husband that, no barndominium.
that's currently how the code's written. I know the city is looking at possibly overhauling the zoning code, doing a complete update. I don't know what it'd be in the future, but that's currently as it is.
Do you know when that window of time, of when they're talking about rezoning?
It's not rezoning.
Yeah, no, we're kind of laughing because we don't have.
Yeah, it's not a rezoning, they would,
Just updating.
yeah, there's two components of a zoning code.
Okay,
There's the text and there's a map. When
right.
you say rezoning, that's the map piece of it, that's not what they're looking to do, and they're updating the text.
Okay, the definition of it.
The whole thing, like, you know, how property is developed, everything of how the zoning code functions, except for the map,
Okay.
is what they look to. So it may or may not change, is all I'm just
And I'm
giving
only
you.
asking that because I want to make sure when I'm ready to apply that rule that I'm in compliance with
Right,
whatever
that's why I
the
figured.
guidance is, yeah. To go and zone this all, you know, an agricultural piece, and then it's all a moot point, and that's what I'm, you know, I don't wanna, I wanna work smart, not hard.
No,
Yeah, you can just stay in touch with the city and,
Okay.
and the zone, listen, I'll just tell you, if the zoning code started tomorrow, it's at least a year, if
Yeah,
not
we're not
18
building-
months
Okay.
process.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Fair enough. Thanks for the insight.
Well, with that, does anyone wanna make a motion?
yeah, I'll go ahead and try to take a stab at it. So I will make a motion that we approve the lot splits with the following modifications, that A and C will be combined into one lot as opposed to two lots as it was submitted. The commission will, or they will work that revision out with the city engineer and planning and zoning consultant. The updated survey should also show the first energy easement,
I'm also in agreement for.
along with a development agreement with the city for the removal of the existing structure that will no longer have a house tied to it.
I'd second that. Any more discussion?
Mr. Franz, did I cover all of that?
Yeah, I think it was well stated. I believe what you said was you were approving it subject to that the lot split plat be revised to reflect the combination of A and C, I think it is.
Correct.
To create one larger parcel, and that's to be reviewed and approved administratively, the city engineer and myself, as well as, on that revised plat to document the first energy easement. And then finally, consideration of some sort of an agreement, development agreement or otherwise, between the city and the property owners that states that the treatment of that existing accessory building on a vacant parcel will be done so contractually through this arrangement that basically says you can keep it for so long until you build your house, and eventually it'll have to be demolished when you build a new one, and there's a financial guarantee to ensure that that's completed. And all of that is what you said.
That's exactly what Susan
I
wrote
got
all
it,
that
too.
down, and she was going crazy. Yes.
Yeah, and we have, it's pretty straightforward. It's really to protect you and the city.
Yes.
I seconded that. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Question, just so I understand everything now that it's approved. We don't need to come back here, we just need to submit the drawing to Susan.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'll
Okay.
get to these guys,
And
they'll
then
go
that'll,
through it.
you guys will get.
They said it to
As far
us.
as the agreement, you'll get that made and get to us.
so that's That's really an administration thing, so the building department can work
Hopefully
with
deal
you.
directly.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
they
deal
can work with
directly
you.
with them on pretty much everything moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to come
Just
back
wanted to-
here unless you decide to build a monster.
No, I can assure you it's not gonna happen.
All right, well, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Have a good day.
Great,
Thank you.
rest of your
Thanks,
evening.
I'll be in touch tomorrow.
Yep, call me in the morning.
We have one miscellaneous item on here. Mr. Wallenhorst wants to be the center of attention,
Not really.
and he wants to, would like to read an affidavit, so
Yes.
turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, I have an affidavit I need to read here. I, Scott Wallenhurst, have been duly cautioned and sworn hereby state the following based upon my personal knowledge. I am a member of the City of Macedonia Planning Commission with the City of Macedonia. I am also an employee of KeyBank National Association, KeyBank, and serve as an architect in the Real Estate Solutions Department. KeyBank is a subsidiary of KeyCorp. I am not an officer or employee of KeyCorp. I own stock in KeyCorp, which represents less than 0.1% of the outstanding shares of that company. In connection with my commencement of services, City of Macedonia Planning Commission, I am providing notice of my association with KeyBank and plan to withdraw from all decisions and deliberations related in any manner to matters related to my employer.
Exciting.
That's it.
All right. I think that's everything. I'll make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.